Welcome back to Get Down to Business, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be joined by John Medved from our crowd. And John, we have all been following a lot of, we'll start with current events. We've been following a lot of news from the Middle East, in particular over the past few months, called the Abraham Accords, some peace agreements, which actually affect trade, which I know is your area of expertise. You're following economic news. So John Medved, first of all, welcome back to Get Down to Business. Thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here, Shalom. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we're going to start with current events, and then would love to hear about all of the work you're doing at our crowd. So, John, what does the Abraham Accords mean for the world of the economy and trade between many nations?
Look, it's a huge opportunity. It's actually a little bit of a gold rush at the moment. It turns out that there was this weird barrier between Israel and its natural allies and friends and neighbors. It was sort of like the Iron Curtain dividing East and West Europe for years. And this I liken to a sand curtain in the middle of this, peninsula, which we basically are bookended, right? You look at the map, you see this peninsula in the middle of the world. It's called the Middle East. And there on one side are the beaches of Tel Aviv, and on the other side are the beaches of Dubai. And somehow we were separated. Now, guess what? Sand curtain is down. All of a sudden, everything is normal. Over 100 direct flights are planned between the UAE and Israel. 100 flights. We are like itching to go, not just to be tourists, but to be investors, to be partners, to work together with this incredibly entrepreneurial society over in the UAE. The guys who built Dubai and Abu Dhabi, these gleaming, metropolitan centers in the desert. And when you put the startup nation together with their scale-up nation, just watch the sparks fly. And it turns out that the world is excited. Investors in the US, in Germany, in Japan, all want to get in on this. And it's just going to be unbelievable.
And I love what you just said, John, because I've talked about this on this program many times. Said really combined with that scalability of the Gulf nations of the UAE, it's just incredible. So again, I'm chatting with John Medved from our crowd, which is an amazing active venture investor in Israel venture capital, and we're going to talk more about that. But John, the question that everybody is asking is, with a new administration comes changes in policy. Do you expect that there will be changes in policy with the Biden administration? Are the Abraham Accords strong enough to survive?
No, absolutely, they're going to survive. And all the indications we're hearing from Washington is that, you don't throw all policy out just because it was done by other administrations, right? You keep what's good and you change what you want to change. And everybody realizes that these Abraham Accords are just a wonderful gift to the countries involved and to the world, and that we need to expand them. And I'm expecting over the next couple of years, and I'm willing to, put my money where my mouth is, that there are going to be other countries joining. This coming together is inexorable. The fact that we weren't doing business the way we should, openly, positively, in a friendly manner with our Arab neighbors, served no purpose. Okay, no one wants to go back to the status quo ante. It's only forward and fast, okay? And we're already talking to other countries around the region and the world who are influenced by this and want to join this wonderful circle of just huge business opportunity.
It's exciting to see the opportunities, and I've just been following the news of all of the tourism that is taking place. But frankly, what's going on, that's in quantity. What's going on behind the scenes is the quality of the conversations that are taking place between CEOs in Israel, the UAE, and I agree with you, John, that I think that there is much more to follow. So since you're throwing money on the table and making some bets, I know you and your team, and by the way, a shout out to your VP of Investor Relations, Amy Stoken, a good friend of the show, good friend of me personally. So shout out to Amy. But you have really been a pioneer in this world that that building startups grows bigger and better when the global crowd, in quotation marks, gains access to venture capital level investment opportunities. And that is the premise of Our Crowd. So I've watched your progress. I've watched everything develop. So first of all, what is, again, that foundation of Our Crowd when you got started, and where has it gone today?
So we started in 2013, about 7-8 years ago. And what's remarkable is that our premise was very simple, that technology investment startups are the foundation of any smart institutional asset class or any institutional portfolio. You look at some of the smartest investors in the world, Yale University, over 20% of their endowment is invested in venture capital. The problem for most of us, though, is that the entry price ticket to get into the good venture capital funds, assuming you could fight your way in, and you can't in most cases because they're oversubscribed, but if you could fight your way in, you need a $10 million ticket. So for many of us, that's a little bit prohibitive. So the idea was, how do we get people into the asset class, into the good deals or the best deals, but with a $10,000 ticket or a $50,000 ticket? And that's what we've achieved, both from a regulatory standpoint, from a technology standpoint. We have a platform called Our Crowd, where your listeners can go to ourcrowd.com. Within minutes, they can sign up and they can start looking at deal flow. And it turns out that some of our deals have done very, very well, thank God. I mean, in 2019, the best performing IPO of all stocks in New York was a company called Beyond Meat. Guess what? It was on Our Crowd for private investors before it went public. And then in 2020, the very best performing IPO was a company called Lemonade. It wasn't, a food tech company to a company Beyond Meat, just high performance. Lemonade is an insurance company, and it was the best performing IPO of 2020, available beforehand twice, by the way, for investors at Our Crowd. So the idea is to go find these great deals before they go public, when they're still private, and make them available to a global audience. And right now we have over 70,000 investors signed up worldwide on Our Crowd. We're managing about $1.5 billion of commitments. We've made 240 direct portfolio investments, and we have 25 funds where you can actually buy a portfolio. And the business is booming. And thank God, a lot of it's due to people like Amy, who do a great job in Chicago. And we're growing all over the world. I mean, we're very active in Asia, in Europe, in the Middle East now. And we have actually opened an office in the Emirates with a great partner there. And the future is very bright for identifying the next generation of these technology leaders that will be making news as IPOs, God willing, in a couple of years.
And I'm chatting with John Medved, who is a serial entrepreneur, and according to the Washington Post, one of Israel's leading high-tech venture capitalists. But it's really not just about Israel, as much as we love to talk about Israel and all of the innovation that's taking place. The stories you've just shared, John, are inspiring, and I love to always profile the social impact of some of the companies that we speak with on the program. And there's no doubt that, you talk about Beyond Meat and you talk about many of the stories that are taking place. So you've got to feel really good about the jobs being created, the innovation that's taking place, and the connections that are being formed. Like you said, 70,000 plus people on the platform, and just excited to see where things are going to go. So John, we're running out of time, and I want to make sure our listeners once again know how to get in touch with the team. I know it's just a matter of minutes from the time they click on to them getting started. Where can they learn more?
By going to www.ourcrowd.com, and it should be pretty self-explanatory. I'd love to get your feedback. And if your listeners want to even reach out to me, you can reach out to me to John, Jon, at ourcrowd.com. I'm John Medved. We love your feedback. We love active investors. We'd love to see your business plans. Or if you've got a nephew who's graduating from MIT and looking for a job, send him our way. If your brother-in-law works at a major medical center and is looking for next generation technology in anti-cancer radiology, send them our way. Okay, we're building this network of people who are helping these startups move forward, giving people a chance to invest in them, be active, and learn a lot about the future as it's being made in Israel and around the world.
John Medved from Our Crowd, thanks for joining us. I'm excited by all the growth and excited to have you back on the program. Check out ourcrowd.com. John, we'll have you back on real soon. We'll be back and get down to business in just a moment after this quick break.